Audio check, audio check. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an audio check. Audio check, ladies and gentlemen. Audio check. Pedro and I will be with you shortly. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting this show started here. Atlas. Whoa. Turn that camera off while you're reading that. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is in the world you're coming to us from. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media universe. So glad to be hosting another episode of this great, wonderful show here called DYOR Live. It is July 14th, 2025, and it's a record Monday. Why is it a record Monday? It's a record Monday because this is another show that Pedro and I have done in our long stretch of shows of setting massive records live streaming. All right, that's a little bit of a stretch. But anyway, it is a record day for a Monday because we came on the air to new Bitcoin highs, just launching through the old-time highs in the past couple of days, launching into new massive market caps, and really launching into new Bitcoin dominance. Person who'll talk about that later is the man eating some garlic next to me here, Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. Welcome to the show, Pedro.
Well, how are things?
Pedro, I did have a good weekend here. I had spent some time with the missus, spent some time with the children's, the Striking It and Striking Junior. They're both in town, so everything was fun, hunky-dory. Did a little motorcycle riding with the various women in my life, Mrs. Striking and Striking It, and it had a lot of fun. It was some decent weather here in Chicago. The only downside is that the construction is still going on outside, so we're still probably during the show today going to hear a beep, beep, beep. But we haven't had the ambulance count yet. The ambulance count's still at 0 today, so not a lot of shootings here. Pedro, how was your weekend in the great northeast of the country?
It was good. It was really good. I just kind of hung out with a friend, and we just kind of hung out. That was really it. That's it. What did I do? Went to the movies. Went to Dunkin' Donuts a couple times, and went to the gym. I mean, it was a pretty chill weekend. Really chill weekend. I actually kind of tried to unplug from everything within
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
A little grass touching, as they say.
I really did. But the problem is, it's hard to say no. And I had planned this for probably about a month and a half, saying I'm not really going to do much with the charts much, and because every weekend, as you know, I'm always looking at the charts and sending stuff to you, saying, okay, let's talk about this, let's do this during the week, and the only thing I really did was kind of make plans for Trade Wave, and that was pretty much it. I told you we're working on that basically protocol for Web3 designers, and me and on the other side of my business partner, we kind of worked that out, and it's just kind of exciting because it's like I'm actually learning, what's that called, work-life balance, or trying to.
It's tough. It's a little bit easier when you got a bunch of youngins there pulling at your shoestrings or your pants. Okay, they're not youngins anymore. They're in their 20s basically. But still, it's you have other influences that don't just soak up all your time. Like next thing you know, you can sit at like a lot of times when both of them are out of town and the missus is in Canada, I can sit down at the computer and stand up on Thursday, and you're like, whoa, where did the past 4 days go? And that is the work-life balance that is not acceptable, as they say.
When you're married and kids, man, it changes everything. It really does. And it's not about even that work-life balance, because you work for them. The only point behind this is for them. So sometimes I have to sit there and go, who's gonna inherit this? Who's gonna get this? Who are you gonna give this to? Right?
Pedro, I'll take it. I'll take it.
That's funny. All right, so you tell everybody about your trade, because I thought that was an epic trade, and I thought it's so awesome. I love it.
All right, let's head over to. Let me bring my chart up here.
While Tom is doing that, I've been messing with Marine C collagen with garlic, bro. Oh my god, I didn't. Do you talk about an amazing taste, bro? Woo! I'm talking good lord.
Oh, Pedro, you gotta watch out for that garlic. That shit'll kill you, man. And everyone around you. That's the problem. You walk through the mall, And you can just, well, you can figure out who the vampires are. All of a sudden, people start dropping. All right, everybody. On the screen behind me here, I've got the Bitcoin chart here. And as you can see, this is a 1 hour chart here over the past couple of days, past day or so. And you can see last night's massive run up here. I don't have my default chart on here, so I don't have my proper drawing tools. But you can see last night, as it's doing that instead of... It ran up here like this. In fact, I got up to use the old, as they say, the WC in the middle of the night, and found myself staring at my computer screen because it was still on, and I just saw green arrows or green candles going up. I came out to the new all-time high of 123,000, and I was like, wow. First of all, I missed it, but I'm not in my general trading thing doesn't follow I don't have a model that chases green candles. If I started as a setup early on and then it turned into that, that's one thing. But once they're already going up, I don't get into that because it's just not something I'm practiced at. There's a lot of things you need to look at in order to chase a big green candle like that, and I'm not good at any of them. and frankly, neither is anyone, because they don't know when that it's going to stop or turn back around. Right, yet. Right, yet. The word is yet.
Because I do it all the time, and you're still learning the basics, and I'll show sooner or later. I'll be like,
right.
Look at this here. This is telling you it wants to go up. You can chase this, and this is where your stop is going to be. It's not retestable, and because it's not retestable, that means you don't let it come back and pull back. But there are times when it is retestable, and you'll know, okay, this should hold based off of these metrics.
All right. And so what I'm going to switch this to the 15-minute chart here. And so what how does this chart move differently than the other one? Anyway, you can see the run up in all the green over here before, and it hit the peak of 123, and in the 15-minute chart, it left a pretty big wick up there. Came back down, sold off that, and then started selling off a little bit. And I was watching that. I didn't immediately FOMO into that because a lot of times that can just be a small retracement before it starts mooning up again. And then Bitcoin started consolidating just a little bit. If you look over here, just kind of hanging out a little bit. But this is a 15-minute chart, so that's a pretty long time. That's about 2 hours there, in which it wasn't doing anything. So I said, all right, it's going to pick one of three things here pretty soon. It's going to go back up. It's going to consolidate and go sideways again, and it's going to go down. And Pedro, what you taught me is to start looking at these candles here on the bottom of the volume, and we had a lot more selling candles here. And this is before the drop off here. I guess right in kind of this area in here, selling volume and stuff like that. And so it started to roll over on that selling volume on this candle here. And then I waited for one more candle, which was this drop here. And as soon as it opened in the red, I said, "All right, I'm going to short this. This is a likely red." And I picked where I picked was the 200 period moving average. 200 period moving average is not on this chart. This is a default chart that's not set up for me. But the 200 period moving average is right where this wick is. And I wrote it all the way down to the two. I put my take profits at the 200 period moving average, and I watched it come down. And it nailed it. And in retrospect, I thought I had a $63 win. I actually had an $82 win.
Nice. That's always feels good.
Yep, that was good. It was nice.
But you should have known that part of your trading thing, because that helps with your risk to reward. So
yeah, and I had set it up so that I don't know why I said 63. In my mind, it was only because it was, you know what, it was the last time. It was on the take profits, or on the when I could see it at the bottom, it said 63.
What was your risk?
It was a little over $8.
Okay, so you made so that was basically a 6-to-1, good ratio, nice.
Yeah, I didn't plan the ratio for it. What I did is I planned the take profit at the 200 period moving average and backed into the ratio. I did it in reverse because I knew I didn't know it was gonna come down, but it was likely that the take profit point would be that 200 period moving average. Anyway, it was a good trade, and it is nothing better than starting off the day with a nice little win like that. Although I did have a small loss earlier of $24 on this other coin that I'm watching explode or implode, and I just blew it. But anyway, so we're up on the day, which is good, and that's probably going to be enough trading for me in the day. Finish the day with a win, and plan out the day. Anyway, Pedro, that was the as they say, my trade there. Bitcoin is trading down at let me rerun the great graphics machine here.
I have it at 120, and the high was 123, which is epic. So I saw one chart, it was like 123, 4, 5, 6. I was like, oh, that is so epic. How they had that, but yeah, all the exchanges have a little bit of differences in the height there, but I just thought it was cool.
All right, well, we need to apparently we need to share this out, Pedro. I've shared it out on the social media and the usual places, except our own Telegram room.
Nice. How we doing over on Rumble? We doing good?
Not at all. The proletariat has not woken up yet to join us.
We only got side.
Let's see. Let me get this. Thanks for standing by here, everybody. We're putting a little. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. A little 10 or 11 care in here into getting the word out about the show.
While Tom is doing that, let me go ahead and go right into Bitcoin here, and we can have fun here. So, a BTC is setting up pretty nice, and
you sat on your mute button, Pedro. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Pedro's screen has disappeared. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wait for Pedro's screen to come back here. Pedro, gonna see me in the Pedro. He's looking at his screen. Pedro. Oh, where did Pedro go? His screen has turned away from me. It dropped the connection and it really sucks. Hopefully it will come on so we can make the bucks. Like Pedro is dropping altogether here, ladies and gentlemen. His internet connection is crap here this morning. Pedro, I don't know if you can hear me on the stream or not, but just log back in and... All right, welcome everyone that's watching out there. Sorry, we're right in the middle of... It's just... Let's see. I don't know where he went. Anyway, we're gonna have to wait for Senor Pedro to come back here. Here he is. He seems to be coming back here. There, his audio is back. Pedro, are you there?
Yeah, it was weird. I don't even understand what happened.
As soon as you started your Bitcoin talk, your connection just dropped. Just boop, it was gone.
Okay. That's interesting. Well, sometimes that happens. Actually, it's never happened to us. That's never happened. That's interesting. And it was actually on both ends here. It was really weird.
No, once I booted your camera in an attempt to get your attention.
Ah, got you.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Pedro Garcia is back. He's getting his camera back on. Should be up right about now. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Bitcoin.
Here we go. That's interesting. Let's go ahead and I'm trying to think. I was full on so as soon as I started talking, you guys didn't hear anything after that?
Right. NNBTC.
Okay. All right. Well, NNBTC, we're watching a pretty epic kind of move here. So we're starting to push above the previous highs, and we're pushing with good volume. Okay, now not to the volume that I want, but enough volume where we're seeing it kind of come in and they're taking profit. So we're seeing it push up. And the part that I like about it is that at these all-time highs, we're seeing the ability for it to come back down, which is good. Retracements are good. Hello?
Yep, you're there. We got you.
Okay, looks like I'm freezing. Am I freezing?
No, not on my
Okay.
end.
Okay,
You may be, your feed may be behind.
Why am I? Okay, whatever. It's cool. All right, let's keep moving forward. Just let me know if things start to mess up. So you can see here that we're seeing good and decent volume as we're pushing up here. We're seeing even during the open here this morning, during the London Open, we saw decent volume come in. On the New York Open here, we saw good volume come in to the downside. And so there's good trading going back and forth here. And that's a good thing. That's what we want to see. We want to see institutions at play here, wanting to get into the market. And more importantly, we're watching the moving averages, and probably many of your indicators are working right now. And that's a good sign, showing that institutions are involved. They're moving the market here. And in addition to that, it's playing right in relationship. There's not any ambiguity in really the directions that it wants to go. And that's important for us, because that means that most likely when we have retracements back, those are just retracements for you to come in and buy in as we push up even higher. So this is what we're looking for. I've talked about once we break that 120 area, right, we want to see it pull back, and which is what we're seeing. So we saw a push up. We saw it extend to the 23 area. We're seeing it pull back to the 120 area. We put a good basing here over a few days. You can see here over a few days that it did a decent basing here, right in this level here, right? This was on Friday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so Monday we saw the push up. So this is a good sign that we'll most likely pull back to the 8, which is going to be around that 114. Over the next few days, we should see it push back up. I think we'll be sitting around that 120, 117 area here, and then continue to make a next leg up. I'm kind of excited because when you look at a lot of the altcoins right now, a lot of them are following Bitcoin, and we're all, just like usual, we're seeing a good amount of push up with these. So like for me, I'm going to just talk about what I love. I hate to use the word love. Never in love with no trade, but you can see here we're following it pretty good. You can see here we went from $10 to $11 here, which was 10% here on this trade here, which is the Crow trade, which I've been talking about. Like I've talked about Crow because I think Crow is a dynamic company. It knows how to pivot and understands the market as well as the marketplace. And so when I say market, I mean the actual market itself, as well as the marketplace for people who buy and sell.
Audio check.
And
Audio
so that's
check.
why
check.
I look at Crow and I'm like, good. This is a good area. One thing I love about it is they give a decent yield, or they give a decent staking reward, which I'm able to give to charity and things like that, which I think is really important. But you can see here that this area here, we tapped this area right here, and we got above the 200 period. And so many of the altcoins here are following the same look here. You can see here, we just got above the 20 on cake. H&T, again, we're just starting to play off that 100, but again, we're starting to see it kind of push up. These are just the little things that we're coming up to the higher end moving averages, and we're showing strength as we're moving up to it. So this is what I'm liking. Again, you have Link, Chainlink here is again doing the 200 period push up. Once it clears above it with decent volume, expected to continue up back to that 22 to 20. So I'm pointing this out because these are just some altcoins. Let's check out Mana. Mana is hitting that 200 period as well as hitting the 400. We're watching this starting to push up here. We're seeing decent volume come up into it. So again, these are important things. We saw at the beginning of the month that we saw it kind of sell off, and then we saw it come back up. It's the same thing with all of this. We're watching it, and more importantly, I think it's important to understand that as we start to really progress in this marketplace here, that these places here are really dope. I'm really expecting a good run this year with the altcoins. I think we'll see many of them hit twice or three times higher than what their previous all-time high is. Now, when it comes to the coming into December and January, we know that that's typically the end of the bull run and then the pullback. And so I proposed an actual question on a LinkedIn area here on LinkedIn group. Yes. I simply said, do you think that we're going to see a 70 to 80% pullback like we've seen in the past with altcoins as well as Bitcoin? And so this is where I think we are, but I want to hear the peanut gallery's view, because the reality is that I can have my own view, and there's been times that I'm wrong in the market, and when I'm wrong in the market, I'm like, yeah, I was wrong. Let's move forward. When I'm right, I say, cool, I was right. Let's move forward, right? The key is not to get too high on yourself, and don't get too depressed on yourself when you mess up. It's just keep it moving, right? You're human. You're not perfect yet. And if you are, typically that's when you're called home. So it's good to stay flawed.
When being beautiful ends and perfection starts, that's when you called home to Saint Gabriel.
Exactly, you got it. So in the same sense, this is where I'm looking at this going with decent volume through the majority of the altcoins. Many of them you can just see people getting excited, saying, hoping, okay, let's go, let's get moving here. And we'll find out, but this is kind of like when I'm expecting us to kind of start to get going on this. And I'm expecting to see many of these altcoins hit maybe double or triple what they were their previous highs. So if, let's say, Crow was $1, I expected to hit $2 or $3 this bull run. And then from there, we'll see what happens. It would be nice if, because a lot of these exchanges are going public. And so if you bought their coins or something like that, they're actually exchanging it for kind of a 1-to-1. So if you decide you want to get part of that stock, these pullbacks, these deep pullbacks potentially could be a really, really just substantial movement. I mean, we saw what Coin did for what was it? It was Coin, right? Coinbase, I believe, for stocks.
Yeah, it went nuts.
Yeah. It's still just it's like let's go, right? It kind of went crazy here. So yeah, no, this isn't this is the stock for Coinbase?
Not the stock.
No, didn't they go public?
Yeah, if you look on the stock market feed, or if you're on TradingView, it should pull it up.
It's Coin, right?
Yeah.
Okay, NASDAQ stock Inc. Here we go, global.
Well, Pedro's bringing that up, ladies and gentlemen. We've had a few more viewers tune in from Rumble. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. If you could do us a favor, do the old like and comment. Interact with us. We're a live show, and we like the interaction. We answer questions. Feel free to do that. Hope some of our usual viewers, regulars, are out there listening, but just can't comment. Mikester, hope you're out there.
We're gonna go over some cool stuff here. Give me one.
Well, I'll give you a couple of seconds here, Pedro, because I need to get my coffee.
Go ahead. Are you feeling down? And do you need help today? Go ahead.
All right, let's get this thing going here. Oh, and it's doing it today. No, I mean, it's all working well today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I sit here and read a lot of these my scripts, the things I write to say and show. I banter with Pedro here. Hold on, let me get rid of the music while we're. But sometimes I just need to perk myself up with a little caffeine and a little coffee. That's right. So if you still haven't tried 1775 coffee, now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's scarce, just like Bitcoin, so get yours. You're getting the bold, dark roast that hits harder than the CNN fact check. You're getting the smooth, medium roast. And you're also getting the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for a clean energy and laser focus. No crash. No. You're getting all single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Plus, you're also getting, and of course, I always love to say this is my favorite part, you're getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't served with plastic. No microplastics in your coffee. No. You're also going to get a black 1775 tumbler that says, I don't take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch. $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is. So go to 1775coffee/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning that stands for something just like Rumble does. Start your day with coffee that actually backs what you believe. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. As always, there's a QR code here on the screen. If you're watching this show, do us a favor, hold that phone up there, click it. If you're on your screen, do whatever you need to do on your phone to go there. Go into the comment section, click the link that's been put in there for you. And go to 1775 Coffee. Show them that our viewers are interactive and want to learn all about coffee that supports their views. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, thanks to 1775 Coffee and Rumble for sponsoring this segment. All right, Pedro, there we got one of them. Got one of them, and very successfully so. Thank you, everyone, that joined. Because all you joined, we get to read ads. That's how that works. If you didn't join, they don't give us ads to read. So we earned we earned under $1 on that, Pedro.
Dude, wow. Well, I remember when it was 10 cents, right?
But that's under $1.
No, but I mean, that's how much we made was 10 cents. Okay. Well, I mean, I know we've been seeing steadily go up where it's been like, 3, 5, 30, 40. I think one time we hit 67 or something like that.
That was our record. This one was well under $1, but I can still say it was in the dollar zone. And that encompasses everything from 0 to a quadrillion. So, but anyway, thank you everyone for if you participated in that and clicked that link. I really appreciate it. Pedro and I have to do these ads to show everyone how we grow, get those statistics up, and bring in the fat stacks of cash to trade on Bitcoin.
Absolutely. All right. So, some of the ones I want to go look at here. Let's check out the majors here. Quickly, and then we can pump through kind of what I'm expecting. So we're seeing a bit of a sell-off. So we shot up for Sunday and Monday. I'm expecting us to kind of BTC here real quick.
B and the T and the C. All right.
And so we're watching it shoot up first. Again, I always say if it shoots up on Monday and Tuesday, expect it to be down for the week. But I think it's going to come down into this lovely area here that we put on Friday, where it'll pull back here. And then the 8-period moving average, and this is going to be the biggest test here. This right here, see how it's going to bounce off of that 8-period on the daily. Are we going to come back down and hit this and then see it move back up and then put in potentially at the end of the week and this is really important. During a bull run, most of the time we will always finish the week green. Even if we see it go up in the beginning of the week, my biggest thing was as I wanted to see us break above this area here, right? We've been talking about that 120, 115 area for a while now. I thought we were going to be hitting it back here when we had the pullback back in June. But we saw the pullback even a little bit further, and I said, all right, well, if it's pulling back to this lower low, I expect it to get down to that 96 area, to that 91. We did not. We actually saw a big amount, and I said, well, if we're not seeing it go down, we're going to go up with it. And so around this area here, back in July, early July, I said, well, we're not going to blow that 8 period, that daily, and we're seeing it stay above, and we're seeing an increase in volume as we're staying at that level. So it was just one of those moments that I said, you know what, I'd expect this to move higher. On the back end, as I'm looking at this, similar situation. We got to stay above that 8 period. And so I think we're going to most likely come down, hit this area of that 16 area, potentially the 111 area. But again, this area here is kind of like that. It's kind of wiggle room here. But in a bull market, what will happen is you will see it come back down, pick up buyers. Actually, picking up sellers is really what they're doing. As we're coming down, they're picking up sellers so that they can sell or so they can buy from, right? And then from there, they push the market up. So this is still a typical play because most of the time at the end of the week in a bull market, you will see us close green. And so I'm really expecting this to really start to pick up here. So I'm pulling back a little bit on the volume stance simply because I don't understand what's actually happening with Iran, as well as a lot of the other stuff that's happening with it, right? And so we know that we saw a major amount of volume just basically disappear when Iran's nuclear site got taken out. And because of that, I'm expecting, that must have, I'm starting to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but that must have been where a lot of the volume was coming because they really had no way to make money. They didn't have the right, people didn't buy from them. So the only way they could make money, like realistically, now we're looking back at it, is just mining. And they had a nuclear, a way to generate energy by nuclear. And so I'm thinking part of that energy must have come to mine and also buy and sell a lot of crypto. So that's what I'm thinking is what
it also didn't hurt that their crypto exchange that the government uses got hacked, and most of their foreign currency reserve stablecoin stuff got sent to dead addresses.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we covered on the show to the tune of $80 million, but I think in the end it was closer to $240 million. And that's a lot for a regime like Iran. That's, they don't pay their people a lot. That's a lot of hard currency that they could have used to get the business done of terrorizing the world. But their hash rate when after the attack, not just the American attack, but also the Israeli attack. For a brief period, the hash rate dropped dramatically, and it did come back, but not as much as it was before the attack. So clearly, the Iranians had said, "We want some of this Bitcoin here," and thus you see why Elizabeth Warren is trying to keep all of us from using it, just because Iran uses it. So that means Elizabeth Warren should also keep us from using U.S. dollars. He can't use U.S. dollars because Iran uses them too. You know what they also use, Pedro?
What do they also use?
They also use oxygen. There's plants in Iran that use carbon dioxide. So we clearly have to sanction them for that. They can't, no oxygen for you.
Yes.
And for all of us, none of us can use it if Iran can use it, right?
Well, I think what's interesting is that we did see a drop in usage in relationship to mining and just hash rate, everything like that. But my biggest thing is that I have to recalculate for my volume and just basically say, okay, maybe low volume is now medium volume, right? and maybe medium volume is now high volume based off of those metrics. So I'm trying to kind of readjust how I look at the market in relationship to volume here. And so that's all I'm saying here, because market's dynamic, and the majority of the time you have to piecemeal things together. I don't believe the main narrative on things, primarily because I've seen too many times where market should, based off the narrative, do a certain thing. And then from there, we see it do the opposite. And it's not like a short time period. We're talking like a long time period. So this is where, for me, I have to sit there and you kind of have to kind of piecemeal a lot of these things together and create a narrative for yourself so that you can trade appropriately. And so that's why I've been trying to do. So we're gonna go into Ethereum now, because we've been talking about Ethereum kind of pumping here back in the early part of July. Back here, once we put this big Mariposa candle in with a decent amount of volume here back on the 2nd, I said, well, we're going up. We're pushing up here. We put the low here. I said, I expect this potentially to come back down. But once we stayed above that 8-period moving average sitting right here at these levels here, I said, we're not going down here. And we're starting to find support here on that 8-period, which is the purple line right here. This is my 8-period moving average, which is basically a trending mechanism that I use. And so we weren't going below here. So I said, all right, we need to readjust. This is potential where we're going to now can see this thing continue up. And so once we got about right here, and I saw the volume starting to pick up here on Wednesday, I said, all right, I'm expecting us to get back up into these higher levels here. And we talked about that 3,000 area here. So today we actually hit the 3,067 area. And what I find interesting, more important, is that we're still keeping, and what am I going to say now? We're still keeping the volume here. Okay. It ain't like these type of volumes, right? This was a different time, right? But this right here, we came here and we're seeing an increase in volume step in. And so again, if we're going up for the beginning of the week, I expect us to potentially come back down to that 8, which would be that 2,800, get buyers, and then continue back up. And so the next level that we would expect at these areas are up here at that 3,500 mark. And again, I'm saying this now. I believe we're in the altcoin season market. Okay, this is where, and this is when I expect to see extended green weekly candles, right? And this is where, and you can go back and look at previous bull markets, and it's typically that 3 to 6 month period where it just is gangbusters. You usually start seeing extended green candles even further until we get the all-time high. It will pull back slightly, meaning those altcoins, and then it will continue up to create new all-time highs. And a lot of times it's 2 to 3 times the previous high. This is why when I talked about, I expect to see Ethereum all the way up at a 13,000, like 12, 13,000 area, because of the past experiences. Now, again, I always say it like this: past experiences in the market isn't mean that it's going to happen the same way. But you know what? It's amazing how the market likes to rhyme, though. And so, like, it may not, it may not rap like Eminem, but it may sound like him.
It may sound like the AI auto-tuned version.
Yeah. So, and this is where it's like really important as I'm looking at the market as we're continuing here. This is what I'm expecting to see what happens. And so it's nice to see that Ethereum is starting to pick up. And again, we saw here consolidation right up in this level here. We saw the stop out. We saw the play up. Now, I expected us to continue down. It hit this liquidity area, right? And then continue up into these levels, but we didn't do that. We pulled back to a certain extent, but then after that, this thing it pulled back, consolidated here again, and then we pushed back up. So our next level is that 3,500 area here. And so this is where I'm expecting us to see a decent pullback. Give me 1 second here. Boom. All right, Mikey. Mike just hit me up. What was it? Go ahead, buddy. Nice. Oh, nice. Yeah, here. Mike just hit me up here real quick. Just realized that. Boom. Come hang out.
Oh, I thought you meant in the comment machine. I'm like, comment machine not working. Once again, everybody, we're reviewing Ethereum right now. Ethereum, Pedro, did it pump last night as much as Bitcoin did? I don't mean in dollar value, but it did have a significant pump last night.
Yeah, it did. So I wouldn't call it like a huge pump. But my biggest thing is it's not the pump. It's the fact that it's not really pulling back. Right? Like look at Bitcoin pullback from a percentage level. Okay. And so when I'm looking at Ethereum, that's why I'm like, we might pull back. And let me pull these off here real quick. Now that we push through here, I'm going to keep this here just for now for that 3,600 area here until we fully clear through it. Back here, we should see a pullback down at here because it was a previous level that we finally pushed through with good volume. And so that's why I'm expecting us to come back down to that area of that 2,800. But if we don't, what the significant moment is that you're going to go to smaller time frames on your hour chart. And you're basically going to see us when we pull back to an area, we want to see, as Tom was saying, remember how he said he expected the market to go down, right? Because of his seller wicks, right? What we want to see as when we come down to that pullback, we want to see buyer wicks bouncing off of higher time frame SMAs, that 200 period moving average on the hourly. Oh, gee, sorry, just woke up. Awesome. Mikey's going to be coming in. Give me a second. Click. All right.
Bitcoin bouncing off the point right where I sold it, I might add, Pedro. I played the reversal and then I executed my out, my take profit at the reversal of the reversal.
Well, I want you to start going long from there. I mean, I want you to go through and start.
I know I would have, but the
show.
Yeah, we're getting involved in the show here, and as we all know, when I multitask and trade, bad things happen.
Yeah, bad things happen. Good point. All right. So next point here I want to bring up is let's watch what's actually happening here when it comes to Ethereum. We're already starting to see the pullback happen, but it's not necessarily as deep as Facebook and not Facebook, Bitcoin. And in the same sense, as we're coming back down, this area, we're already starting to see, like we saw, like we're putting in demand wicks. So it might come back down and touch that 89 or 100 period moving average on the hour. Again, this is that daily 8-ish. No, the 8 is 2,800. I'm sorry. That was my bad. 28. Yeah, so you have the 100 and 200. So this area here is this is a liquidity pool right here. And you also have a liquidity pool right here. And so it's that 27, 28. So you basically have a 2,900 area where you could take a trade here on potentially going back up. And most likely we should at least see a move off of this, right? At this level, I expect to see some form of pullback from that. But more important, right, is that if you're looking to capture that, maybe this isn't a good area to wait for the pullback to get in long and then continue it up as we push. What's up, Mikey? Good to have you. So one of the things I think is super important here, if we do come back down to these levels here, is we want to see it on the smaller time frames come in with good volume. So what we're looking for is this type of play, right? I always talk about it.
Oops.
Right.
Sorry. Pardon me.
So you see, as we come down, we want to see an increase in volume. Now, I want you to pay attention. Even though we were selling off here with Ethereum, right? We were pushing it. Look at all these buyers stepping in. Okay, this is real important to be paying attention to. So this is what we want to see in a bull market, that when it pulls back, we want to see buyers step in. Look right here. We pull back down to here. What do we see? We're now starting to see it push back up again, right? With decent volume. So this is why I'm expecting these people bought up here, to wait for it also to come back here. So this is what we want to see here, where we want to see it get above. Now you can see this is what I'm looking for, where we're following the 8-period moving average. Then we come in with decent volume, right? We see it kind of pick up. We see it's trying to find support. Boom. You start to see it bounce and respect that 8, and now we're expecting it to go up here, right? That's what I'm expecting, this type of play. But down here, if we hit this area of liquidity is where we'll find the 8. The 8 will trend, and then we will break the 8 on either the 5 or 15. These are my time frames. And then after that, I expect it then to find support on the 8, where when it comes down and hits it, it holds. Then I expect it to continue up. And at that moment is where you're looking to get long, right? And so that's what I want you to see. I want you to look at that. That's important to be able to see. And so I showed you guys, I've showed you guys this multiple times, and that's what we're looking to do, right? We see it come up, boom, come back down, find support. At any period in time at this moment, you could have gone long once we're above that 8, right? Because this area right here was a liquidity sweep. You see here, there's a lot of sellers here, right? Or a lot of buyers. You see how they stop everybody else out. It's a liquidity pool right there where they were able to take people's stops, and then they pushed it up. So that's kind of like what I'm expecting down here. Kind of seeing it come back down, step in. Now, if we don't get down there and we see us still get above that 8 and it starts to show good volume, then we want to be paying attention and pull back out and see what goes on from there. But these are the markets that we're looking to play and how we're looking to play them. BNB is also really interesting for the week. Everything's going to be kind of doing the same thing here. Okay, we saw the sell up and the pullback. BNB, you can see here, had a pretty steep pullback as well, like Bitcoin. But again, around this same level here, you can see we have a liquidity area here. And so this is why I would expect us potentially to see this come back down to this area here, take the stops, and then continue higher, right? And we're watching this because look, it's almost hit that all-time high again. And if this thing gets going, expect this baby to push high. Higher. So this is what I kind of expect to see is come down here and then push back up. But again, when we push back up, we want to see it get above 5 and 15, 8, and or whatever one you want to use for confirmation. Typically, I'll use my 8 for confirmation, saying that we're moving. But you can see here, right now, it's not really looking like it. You can see that it's still kind of showing weakness. We're seeing sellers kind of get them step in, and so buyers have not stepped in yet. Because you can see the volume here.
Yeah, volume's down surprisingly lower than I would have thought.
Oh no, this is good because again, we're pulling back on Monday, right? And then they stop everybody out on Tuesday and Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, they just send it again, like what we saw with Bitcoin. And that's a typical move for institutions, right? Is that they're trying to get you to second guess your trade, and then you start taking a bunch of trades, and all they do is just take the other side of it so they can build up their position. So. And so that's why we're here. That's why I'm here. That's why we go over this stuff. And what I love about I'm going to bring this up here real quick, Ethan. We'll switch back to BNB. And what I love, and this is a similar situation that we're going to see, is with ETH, we're seeing this really just pick up. We're really starting to see this area here really start. I'm supposed to be red. I don't know what happened. Give me 1 second there.
While Pedro's doing that, thanks to everyone that's watching us on Rumble. Our viewer count just went up a lot right there. Pedro, I hate to do this to you, but went up enough in order to make sure everyone knows all about Rumble. Ladies and gentlemen, this sponsorship is from Rumble, one that's incredibly important to the survival of the company. That's Rumble, not ours. When Rumble first started in 2013, they built the platform for the small creator. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversation or censor opinions on COVID. But they did. Facebook admitted that they fell to pressure from the Biden and Harris administration. And you saw Zuckerberg testify to that in hearings, and he admitted it. Rumble did not. They held the line. They are attacked daily for giving us a voice to talk to you. They are attacked in corporate media. They are attacked in governments like France. They are attacked from brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. Corporate America is fighting to remove speech. Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive with brand advertisers alone. They just don't get much of their money. Watching our show in Rumble is the most they can ask from you. But if you really believe in this fight, and if you have the means, one major way you can help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. Join the community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in our human right to free speech. Rumble is offering $10 off with the promo code STUDIO when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium and use the promo code STUDIO. Like I said, if you have the means and believe in the cause, now is the time to join Rumble Premium. If you don't have the means, we are just happy if you watch us here on Rumble. So join the community that believes in the First Amendment. Rumble is offering $10 off with the promo code STUDIO when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium and use the promo code STUDIO, or click this QR code here, ladies and gentlemen. Show our advertisers that our audience is interactive. Trust us, it helps us out if you just go there, just get the link generated. And maybe your eyeballs will be captured and want to join the Rumble Premium. You get special creator content. Pedro and I do 5 hours a month of content that's available only to premium subscribers. And also you get to watch the shows without ads. And it's not just our stuff. There's a lot of other people out there like Steve Crowder and crew that do premium only. And they get a lot more raw and even more honest than they do in the regular broadcast. So if you could do us a favor, click the link here in your chat. It's there too. Join Rumble Premium. Thank you very much, and thanks to Rumble for sponsoring this segment of our show. Pedro, back to you. You're on mute.
Awesome. So I think one of the coolest things that we can check out here, and I think it's super important, is looking at where we saw Ethereum. Ethereum is picking up steam, and the pullback was good. And so what we're looking for is a similar situation. We want to see the coins, and what we're looking for are the coins that are kind of bucking the trend. Your correlation with Bitcoin and that altcoin, if you see it starting to diverge, whereas they were like typically kind of like a 90% correlated, once you, or maybe 95% correlated to Bitcoin, and then you start to see the divergence, and then it starts to see it diverge, where now we're seeing where Bitcoin maybe is red, but we're seeing that altcoin looking green, right? That's one of those things you want to be paying attention, and that's one of the things that we're seeing with Ethereum. And so that's what I'm expecting. That's what I want to see. This is how I know that we're starting to see the altcoin season really starting to pick up, because that's really what we're seeing. I mean, if you look at XRP is very much going to show a lot of strength here. We're coming back up to that 330 area, 308, and we're watching it now starting to push up. And so I'm expecting
Oscar, sorry to interrupt you, Pedro. I'll talk after.
Yeah. So we're watching like XRP is coming back up to that 330. We talked about this on Friday. I said he's probably right, Oscar, because we're seeing an increase in volume. We're also seeing it go to that 330 area, that 308, 330. And I do expect to see this thing, like, well, we talked about this at the beginning of the year. I expect a $9 Ethereum, or excuse me, XRP.
$9 Ethereum, people would freak out.
Yeah,
but and a $9 XRP, people will similarly freak out.
Yeah, well,
I mean, they already 5x their bags earlier in the year, or at the end of last year, and 3xing them more at these rates would create a lot of wealth for people.
Yeah, and this is where I've talked about this, and this is where this idea that we're going to need immigrants. Like, when
to buy XRP?
No, to work, because there's a lot of people during this bear market that they have bought. I mean, if you look at the wealth, or excuse me, if you look at the demographics of the people who bought crypto, they are the lower 50%. Understand that is the people who sit between the, like if you look at the wealth in America, middle class, right now is typically about 70-60%, right?
Yeah.
That's where, then you have the top 10 percenters who make like 150,000 plus a year, right? But the people who typically make between $50,000 and $20,000 a year are the ones who've been buying crypto. It's not the wealthy, nor is it even middle class.
I can tell you that for sure. You're correct.
I know I'm correct.
Because everyone I know that's wealthy doesn't. They're like, why would I buy that stuff? I don't know. That's crazy shit. And everyone that wants to get wealthy is buying it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Including me.
And so when these things start to say, and we're talking, there's been a good amount. We're talking, a lot of people I know have at least $50,000, $70,000, $80,000. And so, and we're talking down at the lows they've been buying for years. And so that in itself, I mean, now some of them have a couple $100,000 to $300,000 worth of crypto. And the thing is we see a 3x, a 4x, 5x of where they're sitting at, which over the next, and I'm not joking when I say this, over the next 4 years again, so bear market and bull market bust, right? Bear market bust, bull market push, that will push them into the $1 million mark. And most likely the interest or your staking rewards will still be between 4 to 6%. And so this is where that money starts to bleed in, and it easily comes into, now, do I continue working? Yeah, I'll continue working, but I finally have FU money.
Right, you're overlooking one key aspect of the words you just used about how you delineated the demographics between those that are wealthy that are not buying and the ones that people that want to get wealthy and have been buying. Okay. They're going to see money they haven't seen before, ever. And my faith in humanity knows that they'll fucking blow all that money. Just like you see the lotto winners, they like get $100 million and they go bankrupt, and you're like, how the hell did you blow $100 million? And I have a feeling is that I believe you're right. A lot of people drop out of the employment pool, and we'll need immigrants to take their spots, or whatever other solution. And then these people are going to slowly creep back into the employment pool because someone gets $2.5 million XRP. That's retirement money for a lot of people. You could live very comfortably with a $2.5 million nest egg. It'll generate you 15 grand a month or 16 grand a month, whatever. That's plenty of cash for most people.
Well, but
after you buy your Ferrari, after you buy your house, after you buy your mom's house, after you buy your friends all their shit, after you take all these lavish trips, after you go to the clubs and bottle service for 6 months straight, all of a sudden you got 800,000 left. And then when you get your monthly check from your interest and dividends on it, all of a sudden you went from 15 grand a month to 2 grand a month. And now you can't pay the rent on your penthouse that you rented. So I have a feeling that because crypto gains don't come with financial planning classes, you'll see a lot of those people come back into the working pool eventually. Especially if they're younger, because they'll spend a lot of money and they won't plan for inflation properly.
So we need to make sure that we're talking about that. I need to go out and get my licenses again, so I can talk about that. I don't want to.
You can talk about financial planning. You just can't sell your services to anyone. I actually graduated in school, financial planning degree.
Well, I had my Series 6, 65, 7.
Those. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about offering financial planning advice, like how to, ensure that your nest egg is enough to live on. That's different.
You know what? I actually have a lot of friends. We need to bring friends who will sponsor us. Because we're already seeing increase in viewership. We're seeing stuff start to really pick up. We need to offer something where we can give a person who understands crypto, who understands how to diversify, and also allow them to build accrue wealth. And so that's what we need to do. We need to offer. We need to find a good, legit financial advisor firm that understands crypto well and also understands. We need to give that to our people, because as it starts to pump and we start to see things and people start making a lot of money, I want to see our people keep that money.
Right.
So that's something that we need to do then. I think you're very much right. I will agree with you. We'll see it, and then people will blow their cash.
Just know it. The car dealers are sitting there. Where's Jesus? Yeah, where's Jesus? He's going to be sitting there. Bring me your XRP money. Come on.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, you'd be stupid if you didn't do that.
Right. Hey, Pedro, I want to take a turn quickly just to talk about the topic of the show. But if you have another one or two things to go through first, feel free to do that.
All right, cool. I want to finish. We can finish on with TRX. TRX is another one that I'm starting to see it kind of pull back here. And it's kind of starting to kind of go sideways here. So if we do see TRX pull back here at this moment, I think if we could see it get down to that 26-cent area again as it pulls back here, it might not. But if it does pull back, I'm looking at that 27, 26 area here. Literally, because if it does come back down to this area, I think it'd be a smart area to buy in. That would, that's, what is that? That is at least a 10% pullback there, 10, 11% pullback. And as we really start to get going again in this pull in the market, remember, as we push higher, the pullbacks become greater. And then you see then you see an acceleration of that green candle, and we start seeing a 15, 20%, 30% increase in a week, 40% in a week, 70% in a week after that. Because remember, we just keep seeing bigger candles during these expansion times,
right?
And so when it pulls back, we also see a bigger pullback because they need liquidity, right? Because people are buying, so they need to stop people out. And so this is what they do.
Pedro, we've been talking about this for a long time about that. And every time we talk about other people just going raiding your money, because that's what has to happen for the market to move. It always catches me off guard. It's, well, they got to stop you and take your money so the market can move up. And you're just, wait, no, that's not how it's supposed to work. Everyone's just supposed to all get rich at once and not be a war. No, it's a war.
It is a war.
It's not just a small battle or skirmish down the street or a gangbanger corner beef. It's a war. The smartest people in the world are doing it.
Yes, smart. You are going up against the smartest people in the world. And so this is why I want to help you guys navigate this so you can understand, hey guys, I expect to sell off here. This is a good area, right? Take part of profit here. Boom, take it, then buy it back down here at this lower level. Or you can short. You can take another side where you can trade the future side, short the market, and then buy back the actual hard coin. And then when you buy back that hard coin, then now you bought on spot, right? So now you're receiving. And I think you need to do both. I think you need to play with the futures market, which you can wisely, and I've talked about our risk to reward ratio, 2 to 3%, 4% of what your portfolio is what you risk, right? In the same sense, because we have a high risk to reward ratio in this bull market, you can get a 10 to 1, 15 to 1 ratio on your small bag that you have in the futures. Take part of that profit, which is what Tom is doing right now, which is what we've been talking about. He takes part of that profit, he buys hard coin, or in his case, he pays bills, which I don't think he should. But
sometimes you don't have a choice.
Yes,
the sheriff shows up and says you need to pay or get out. No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm kidding about that. But the point is that Pedro's right. You need to do all that stuff.
Yeah, it's important. This is why I'm here. I want to help you guys out in relation to how to play these markets here and understand. Again, it's not financial advice. It's entertainment, education, and edutainment purposes only. But it's kind of like what I'm doing. So I want to help you guys out in relationship to this. Okay. And then the other one I wanted to bring up was Matic. So Matic, I'm expecting it to come back up and continue up, but we're seeing a smaller pullback. We're seeing it kind of go down here a little. If we do this pullback here, that 21 cent area is a nice little area when I see it kind of play either 21 or 20 cents. So that's that 8-period moving average, and then see potentially to go back up. So these small little plays that we can play here will be fun. Oh, the other one, Solana. Solana was really interesting. Solana showed a lot of strength today. And also, you can see here, when it did pull back at the end of the day, it didn't go below the low here because the low had a lot of buyers sitting at these lower lows at 161 area. So I'm looking for it to kind of show some strength there. If we do come back down, we'll probably test this low here, but I don't think we'll see it going any lower apart from that 157 area here, just simply because, again, that's where your daily 8 is sitting, that 158, 157 area. I think that's where we'll come hit and then continue up. Okay, so that was it for now. Go ahead.
$88 billion in market cap for Solana. I mean, I know it's been higher. I know it's been close to 150 or something like that, but still, $88 billion. And you know, I say this all the time, and I keep harping on it. That people still keep trying to say, oh, the crypto is junk. It's just blah, 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 blah. There's so much money in it. I know compared to the stock market, it's much smaller, but there is so much money into it. I mean, there's $3 and almost $4 trillion in it now. I mean, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of cash money, and for people to poo-poo it and say, you know, I don't understand it, so I'm not going to get in on it. They're going to be the poor ones in the future. Anyway, so Solana, but Solana, amazingly, is not one that I've traded before. I think maybe once I tried it, but it's never a project I've really tracked in my mind.
Yeah, it's crazy. Did we hit an all-time high today? Real quick.
Last night it was after midnight. At roughly 1:30 a.m., 2 o'clock Eastern time, I believe.
I'm actually looking for something here real quick. Let me hit Grok up here real quick.
Once again, though, all of you watching on the great Rumble machine, thanks for joining us. Thanks to Chris Pavlovsky, the CEO of Rumble, just for creating Rumble. That's all. He didn't do anything special for us, but our numbers are up. That means the algorithm there is giving us some love, and we appreciate it. Remember, you don't have to be a subscriber. We'd like you to subscribe to Rumble Premium and use the links provided in our chats to do that. But if you just create a regular account, it's free. And creating a regular account allows you to hit that like button. And it allows you to ask questions and to follow us. We need some more followers, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't followed us, please do so. Not only do you get notifications and stuff about us going live, but it lets Rumble know that there's people interested in our channel, and that's important to us. And so all we can do is ask your help in guiding us along in that journey here. The YouTube algorithm has said that we don't provide as much content that people love anymore, even though we talk about Bitcoin going to new highs, and that's all everyone's interested in. So there's something going on with the YouTube algorithm. On the other hand, Rumble is not censoring freedom, as I've read in the ads here. And they are doing us a solid here by providing this good platform for us. So you should join it. You should join it and support us. We really would appreciate it. You're on mute.
Ultimately, when we're looking at this market for the crypto market, as assets start to get inflated because we keep printing, I don't think we'll ever stop printing. I don't like what we saw with the market. Crypto will always become, and this is what Michael Saylor is betting on. He is betting that the U.S. cannot stop itself from printing money.
Right. And they can't. There's no way. I don't see how they could.
Yeah. And so it is one of those things that I'm looking at now going like, he is right on. Bitcoin will become the baseline settlement level. Everything will balance itself based off Bitcoin because and he says it, and I think he's correct, it is a superior mechanism to garner wealth because it is finite. It's truly, and the reason why I say that is I think the consensus protocol of creating more Bitcoin will never agree, because you take away people's wealth if you do.
You've essentially do that to the dollar. You do what we do to the dollar. You devalue it by printing more. And
so people, and the vast majority of the consensus who own Bitcoin, I mean, people own 5%, 6%, 10% right now, right? Like literally there are wallets that sit with ungodly amount of Bitcoin.
The Satoshi wallet's about to eclipse Warren Buffett in wealth.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
How about that?
And how about them apples? And so the reason why I say this is because when we're looking at, so right now, the stock market's value is roughly about $65 trillion worth of market cap. Okay. And it's based off of assets within companies that actually accrue value based off of its mechanism that they bring to the marketplace. So, the fact is that Grok is part of Tesla. Grok is an increasing value company because it keeps improving and it brings value to the marketplace and people use it, hence increasing its value, like intrinsically.
Right.
I'm using that as an example because the majority of the people use Grok in crypto. Now, on the back end, when you're looking at Bitcoin, because it is a stated value of what a money is and people trust it, and a lot of people have a lot of money in it, they're not going to want to see their wealth disappear. So they will not agree to print more Bitcoin because they stay ahead of inflation. And so you'll always see crypto because it follows. When I say crypto, I mean a lot of the altcoins as well as even crap coins. Last bull run, remember we did a show a couple years ago and I said, you know what, we're watching to see a lot of these coins, right, excel what we saw in the previous altcoin or the previous ICO. Remember hitting $1 billion was crazy. And even the idea of a 5 billion, like nobody could, it would be crazy if you hit 2 billion, right? Now these meme coins and altcoins are hitting 2 billion, 5 billion, some 10. And you're like, what? Wait, what? And this is not abnormal to see hit 3 billion to 5 billion. And so I think it has to do with this idea that our printing of money only escalates everything else in crypto because, again, crypto is finite. You need a consensus to build more. So that's it in a nutshell. And with that said, I'm expecting to see a lot of these altcoins, a lot of these just coins itself, just pick up and go because of that same sense. And the lower part of the population, when I say lower, I mean like
income level,
income level, lower income level is lower, right? And they're the ones buying. It's going to be really interesting to see this. Anyways, go ahead. So what we were talking about, what was today's
Actually, ladies and gentlemen, the theme of the show today, Crypto Week, as you can see on the screen here. It's officially Crypto Week in the U.S. as designated by the U.S. House of Representatives Financial Services Committee. They've designated a Crypto Week. And the reason why, Pedro, is because there's going to be a lot of action this week on the crypto bills in order. In fact, a bunch of them have been not languishing, but the priorities of the rest of the government's needs and wants have taken precedence over crypto. And so the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, and one other one kind of have been backburnered on that. And so what is going to happen this week? We're going to celebrate it all week, Pedro, because I'm going to make a big deal about it. See, this is already a big deal because I'm talking about it. So it's the word's getting out when Striking and Pedro are talking about it, right?
And that's a big deal. That's a very big deal.
Anyway, there's 3 key bills under consideration in Congress this week. There's the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, and the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act. Just to quickly go over them for you, the Genius Act focuses on establishing a framework for stable coins, enabling private sector innovation, while ensuring consumer protections and financial stability. This bill is seen as a bipartisan effort to regulate stable coins without stifling growth. Kind of a we all win type thing. And it allows, as you've heard Pedro say, Walmart, Target, Amazon, people like that can all offer stable coins if this passes. The Clarity Act, the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act.
You're actually, forgive me, I want to bring this up. Did you know when I realized something? If they create their own stable coin and they back it up, and they also back it up with other assets, potentially they could actually save themselves if there is an implosion of the US dollar, that they literally could, they could stick around like in the future. Yeah. Because of how they're actually diversifying that wealth. Anyways, I just thought it was really interesting. I was thinking about that this week or weekend. Okay, go ahead, move forward. Forgive me.
All right,
I just totally cut you off. Sorry. Go ahead.
The second bill under consideration is the Clarity Act, the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act of 2025. This bill is the bill that sets the playing ground for regulation for all of digital assets. Aims to divide regulatory authority between the SEC and the CFTC, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, at the congressional level in law, not just in policy or he said, she said between the SEC and the CFTC, in creating clear rules for market participants, enhancing consumer protections, reducing regulatory overlap, which has been a problem in crypto, and it's described as landmark legislation for the crypto infrastructure. And frankly, anything that regulates crypto in a positive way is landmark. It gets that status. The third bill under consideration is the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act. It seeks to ban or limit the issuance of central bank digital currencies that could enable government surveillance, emphasizing privacy concerns in opposition to a digital dollar that's run by the United States government. We're going to have a digital dollar. Let the government fund all the fintechs, all the banks out there, and let everybody else have digitized the dollar in the manner they're doing via their own internal stable coins or blockchains like JP Morgan does, via private stable coins. You could have piles of corn. A giant pile of corn that's worth $1. Get a whole bunch of them, and you got piles of corn that are equal to $1. It's stable corn. Anything can be equal to $1. At the right amount. But this provides or keeps the federal government from doing that. And the fear is surveillance, because when the government controls your money, if they control the central ledger of everyone's money, then it's not your money anymore. The basic idea in crypto, Pedro, is if they're not your keys, it's not your crypto, right? The same with the CBDC. If the government controls that central ledger, and the argument always starts out with, well, if you got nothing to hide, well, that's not the point. You want your money in your pocket, right? You want it in the government's pocket and you have to ask for it? I want some. And then they say, yeah, we'll give you 85% of your money because you're going to use it buying guns. But if you buy kale, we'll give you 125% of your money. Do you want that? Or the government says, you know what? We have a deficit that we need to solve. We didn't pass the debt reduction or the debt ceiling thing, so we can't borrow any more money. So we need $10 billion to pay everybody tomorrow. We're just going to take it out of everyone's account. An instant tax. All those things can happen with the central bank digital currency, and we don't want that to happen. So those are the three bills, the Genius Act, Clarity Act, and the Anti-CBD Surveillance Act, being considered this week by the House Financial Services Committee and pushing it onto the floor of the House of Representatives for a vote to pass. And now the Genius Act's already passed the Senate, so that would become law if House passes it. I'm unsure if the Clarity Act has passed the Senate, and I don't think the CBDC bill has passed the Senate yet. But Let's see. Actually, there's a little bit more notes here. The votes are anticipated to pass the House, marking the first major crypto blah, 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 blah. And of course, there's going to be a lot of hearings. They're even talking about redoing the Dodd-Frank Act. It's that act turns 15, transformed a lot of banking and investment banking following the 2008 financial implosion. Chairman Hill is also going to be on a couple crypto podcasts. So I think I'll reach out to their office and say, hey, how about our podcast?
Man, that'd be so dope.
Yep. Anyway, that's what's going on in Crypto Week this week. We'll talk more about it this week and give you updates as that happens. But just thought I'd bring a little bit of that information to you guys so you understand when you hear the crypto Twitterverse talking about things, you actually understand what they're talking about. The Crypto Week, ladies and gentlemen.
I think it's interesting when you look at the Crypto Week.
Are you struggling with addiction?
No, I'm not. There you go. I'm sitting there sending stuff, and all of a sudden, and it's funny is I keep hitting mute on this, and then it just keeps I don't understand if they say mute, it should work.
You don't mute those ads, but you mute your own microphone fairly regularly. So.
Yeah, you would go, that's just sometimes the way it rolls. So, hey.
Welcome, Mikester, to the show. If you're using a phone, you need to hide the chat to see the like button. Yeah, that's confusing. It's confusing in Rumble and in YouTube. So if you want to hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen, and you're on your phone, you actually got to close the live chat. Go hit the thumbs up, yeah, ding, and then go and open the live chat again. It might say comment. A lot of people leave comments, I see, as if they were live, because they're in the wrong section. And on your phone, depending on the layout of your phone, you might have to swipe sideways on the comments to get to live chat. It's like that on YouTube. YouTube does the 2 steps forward on the user interface, and then they do 3 steps back. So, anyway, thanks for watching, Mikester number 1, and of course, Mikester, drop this in all your trading groups. Hey, I'm on the TV over here.
Hey, he's on the TV. It's really interesting when I was looking at the markets here, and I was thinking about this. So with what's the act in which says that the government cannot create the CBDC? What's that called? The Anti-Government Surveillance Act, something like that. I just closed that tab. Sorry. No, it's okay. It's all right. The reason why I say that is because, well, you can always go to your history and just pull that tab back up. I mean,
yeah, that's what I just did. The Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act.
Yeah. So one of the things I was thinking about this is we know that during 70 to 100 years ago, holding gold and silver was basically like holding crypto, right? It was like how is the government going to come in and take it? And so we saw that there was a period in time when the government, I think it was during Eisenhower, where they went through and started confiscating gold.
No, it was during Roosevelt. It's during World War II.
Yeah, started going through. And so people, because it was a physical thing, they could actually go through and just take it, right? Like, boom, this is ours. Thank you. Have a good day. I don't care, right? And what was interesting is if you don't give somebody your keys, you can't confiscate it.
Right.
And this is the part that I absolutely love about crypto, is that if the government becomes authoritarian and we start to see them really push things, it's you can't, like, what are you gonna do? I mean, I guess you could put me in jail for the rest of my life for not giving you, but
where's Pedro? In the joint, gulag.
He didn't give up his keys.
He's out in northern New Mexico in the gulag.
Oh, bro, wouldn't that be so crazy that stuff actually happened?
It'd be like the movie Red Dawn with the Wolverines.
Oh, bro.
You youngsters, there's a movie you gotta watch if you have not watched Red Dawn.
Oh my, bro, you literally just gave me
Hey, goosebumps there.
goosebumps, bro, just thinking about that. Like, really.
I like the line in it. Well, 500 million Chinese would disagree with you. And then the guy says, wait, there's 1 billion Chinese. And he goes, there were. And you're like, because it's a world, nuclear war happens. And you're like, ah!
Yeah. Have you seen the new Tron movie come out? Because I went to the movies, I saw the...
No, but my daughter told me about it. She's into the Tron thing.
It looks good. It does. I'm sitting there going like, ooh, that's hot. But partly I'm a little... It's almost that dystopian. It's scary, bro. Like it's set in a different way, and it's just like, oh man, are they set? Are they hinting at what they're gonna try to do? Right? Like I'm just setting.
They. Who's they? Anyway, Pedro, I gotta do a quick bio break here. I'll be right back.
All right, excellent. Let's check out some other coins here. So let's check out Doge here. Doge has actually been acting really interesting in the fact that we're not seeing a lot of buyer wicks, but we're seeing pretty good amount of seller wicks. And so I thought we were going to be getting up to that 22 cent mark area, but over the weekend we put in quite a few seller wicks here. So we potentially could be pulling back down to that 18 cents and potentially that 17 cents area here. And then before we continue higher. So be ready for that. That could be a good little short as we come down, maybe potentially Monday and Tuesday, and then see it pick back up when we see Bitcoin really start to take off again here. So that's one of the ones you guys can be looking at. Also, let's check out ADA. ADA has been showing some strength here, even though we've had some seller wicks here. We're really seeing a big amount of buyers starting to step in, and even on Sunday we saw a lot of volume kind of come in relationship to the previous weeks or previous days. And so this is one of the ones that I'm going, you know what, this is potentially just kind of breaking through this 200 period moving average to catch all the way back up to that 86 cents and potentially that 95 cent area. So if you've been buying up Cardano into these low levels of 33, 32 cent, 31 cents down in here, the 24, this next leg up should blow through a lot of like that 98 cents area. Will act more as a hiccup than an actual real pullback. I would expect us to see it kind of come back down to this liquidity pool here. And so this is kind of like what I'm expecting us to kind of hit, boom, come back down, boom, hit, come back down, and then come back up from here, come back down, and then start to see this thing really pick up steam here. These levels here are, I think we could see, like I said, I think at the beginning of the year, I said it was 369, a $9 Cardano as well. So like I said, it's starting to really pick up steam here, and expect to see some good movement for Cardano. If you're not really looking to hold on to the coin, but you want to play that futures market, again, we're going to be coming out with another futures company that we're going to be looking to play with. Right now, we're still messing with a few of the ones out there, but we do. Give me one second. Let me make sure. Rumble Auto Chain with BitFi. Check out BitFi with our link there. Set it up. I believe you get a $100. They give you $100 to trade with them, and then you can start to make some cash. Even take some of the plays that I give you guys. And remember, this is what I'm doing. I'm not telling you to do what you do what you want, but I do help you guys out with what I'm looking at and how I trade it. So that's really nice. Also, in relationship to AVAX, or let's go into TON here. TON was actually acting really interesting. Also, we're seeing it really starting to find support on that 8-period moving average right here. Can you guys see me? No, let me pull this back just a little bit more. Boom, there we go. You can see right here that this market here is coming in. You can see we're starting to find that support on that 8-period moving average there. So as that's happening, it's a good little area for you to actually wait for a kind of a pullback and then a push back up. I think we're going to be headed to that 3616 area. That's the other thing I thought was real interesting. If y'all don't know, I believe it's 616, which is also the other Antichrist number, and which is really interesting. So if you ever go want to have kind of a fun, wild ride, go look up the 616 and 666 number, and see how it was a little bit of a faux pas right there, that kind of messed things up, which is kind of funny. And so anyhow, let me pull back here real quick. This right here, boom, come on. This next level up here for TON, which is the stable coin for Telegram. We could see this thing kind of pick up, and once it blows through that 100-day period moving average, which I do expect to see, you can see how there's volume definitely coming in over the last few weeks or over the last few days. I would expect it to push through here and then continue up, and primarily because as you see, it's pretty much green for the day, but when we look at Bitcoin, we don't really see we see a big seller wick. So that's why I'm kind of looking at TON saying, you know what, this is showing some real strength. It's kind of bucking the trend that Bitcoin's doing, whereas Bitcoin would normally sell off. These are some of the coins you want to be paying attention to, the ones that kind of buck what Bitcoin is doing. So right now what's holding its resistance is this liquidity area here from this coin, from this area right here, but also you have the 100-day period moving average sitting there. And so it's not going to just easily go through it. It's going to have a little bit of resistance there. Also, DOT.
Hold on, Pedro. I got a question for you about TON coin.
Oh, go ahead. I totally forgot that.
I just came back. I was actually behind the scenes for a few minutes, quiet, producing the graphics and stuff.
I love it.
But TON coin, it'd be interesting to see that. What's his name that runs Telegram? I can't remember his name. He's arrested in France because he didn't let them spy on people. Then they blamed him. They said, "Oh, he's money laundering." That's how they get you to spy on people. Yeah. But anyway,
he held strong, bro. Respect him.
Yeah, he did. He went to the joint and said, "No, it's not going to happen." And thankfully, France is a country of law, and they're like, "All right, eventually we got to release him." But anyway, the market cap, I was just noticing the market cap on this is $8 billion. And I am guessing that the insiders at Telegram had big fat wallets. And a lot of them were probably getting good. I mean, Telegram took on a lot of VC money. Not a lot of the traditional stuff, but they didn't need tons of it because they had zillions of users. And they didn't have to come up with any proprietary things, so they didn't need to spend tons of money on, billions on research like other people do. They just needed a good platform and be able to have the infrastructure to do it. Pay Amazon those massive fees for using their services, or whoever they use as a cloud provider. But so that they get paid for that. The people insiders get paid for that. Then they launch this token, which I have to imagine, like in any other crypto thing, the insiders got big fat wallets, and they have hundreds of millions of dollars, potentially billions of dollars, in insider wallets that may be locked up, may not be locked up. I mean, if an insider dropped $100 million of TON coin, nobody would even notice. I mean, there's no reporting to the SEC. It wouldn't even affect the market that much. And I hadn't considered that of companies that are already successful. Kind of like the ICO. It's not, I shouldn't say it's like the ICO craze of 2017. That people went from zero to rich because they were having these ICOs. But companies that are already established and all that, they've been given stock options for a while. Maybe we say, maybe Facebook launches their own token, but gives all the insiders points. And all of a sudden they have billions. And it's outside the whole the valuation of the stock and devaluation of the stock. It's just separate. I mean, it's like a separate entity because it's not actually ownership shares. I didn't mean to go on this long about it. I just thought it was an interesting observation. No, but it's something that probably someone in the government and more importantly the IRS is going, We should keep an eye on this.
No, I think you're right. And I think also the fact that you have that many, like, there's no way that the American government is not all over this. And I don't think it was just the French government that just made this decision. I think they picked France. And I think many of those people said, we know that we can get away with it here in France. It's law abiding, but also it's kind of a renegade nation. I mean, they're the ones who really went against, England, and they're the ones who gave us the Statue of Liberty, right? Like they're law abiding, but they're also a bit of a renegade, so they know that they could get away with it. I don't think it was just one nation. I think if America was to do something like that, it would go so much against our ethos that you could definitely see a huge outcry of going, WTF, what are you doing? But in France, they could get away with it. And so I do think that it was more than just one nation that was actually behind this. And they wanted to put a little fear in him because he holds a lot of power. He very much holds a lot of power because he has such a huge platform, just like with Zuckerberg. I mean, the fact that Zuckerberg is building a data system, this data
center
that is the size of Manhattan is nuts. like it's just that's crazy. But you know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of the power that if Tron really, excuse me, not Tron, if Telegram,
Telegram.
Yeah, if Telegram decided to really become a decentralized, centralized system, right, where they are kind of that way, but if they were to become a little bit more centralized, that man could have a lot of power. And so it's like one of those things that they almost wanted to put a little fear of God in him. Like, we can still get you. We can still, the long hand of the United States and a few of these other countries, you're not that big of a deal.
Right.
And so I feel like that's really what that was about. And I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all. You know, the amount of money that is in this, just in this coin alone. I mean, and the fact that it did start at 75 or 73 cents and it went all the way up to almost, what was it? $8. So there was a lot of money made, It's about where it launched at right now. I believe, let me make sure that I have this correct. Real quick. Oh, quick question. What are your thoughts on Grok 4? Have you messed with it yet?
I just started using it today. I haven't used it for anything different other than search. So I haven't run anything interesting through it.
Dude, it is absolutely amazing because the stuff that they're doing right now is phenomenal, dude. Like the coding on it is really good. You can prompt it. The vibe coding is getting really good. And so it's like anybody could really build some if they want, if they're willing to put the time in for the prompting and saying, this is what I need. He's saying that anybody should be able to build like webs or whatever. It will be able to create it. And so on the back end, I'm thinking it would be smart for Elon to go through with Grok 4 or 5 in new reiterations of it to literally create its own domain for websites, as well as being able to create little small business ventures, because the amount of innovation I think that's going to come out of Grok 4 is going to be astronomical, because a lot of the other LLMs, you can't do what you can do with Grok right now. And they doubled its human intelligence, its ability to kind of basically think like common sense.
Oh, it's like watching this show. You double your human intelligence just by watching DYOR Live? Is that... I am Grok. Hold on, Pedro. Someone grok something. I need to answer them. No, here's how you code it. All right.
Oh, that's good. And it first. Give me a second. I got it.
Everyone watching us on Rumble, thank you very much. I thought about time they were going to give us another ad here, but nope, we have enough people to do it. But as always, for those of you that have joined us after the last time you heard me say this, please hit that like, subscribe, follow button. If you're not don't hold a Grok account, a Rumble account, click that button to join. You don't have to join and pay any money. You don't have to pay any money to join. Rumble Premium is the other tier in which you can pay for something. But in order just to follow us and like us, which really helps us out, it lets Rumble know. It's not just like, ooh, we got more subscribers. It lets Rumble know that viewers are interested in this channel, and that's what helps the algorithm. So if you could do that for us, we'd really appreciate it. Pedro, we're coming up on the witching hour here on the show here today.
Yes, sir, we are. But ultimately, when I'm looking at a lot of these, I expect TON to kind of get up and go here. The fact is that we're seeing volume step in and staying above that 8-period moving average. So once we clear that 100-day period moving average, which is the yellow line here, and we've been flirting with it now for a while, for the last few days.
Hold on one second. I didn't have your chart up, so I want to point the yellow line out again here.
Yeah, so this is the yellow line right here. That is the 100-day period moving average. And you can see here that we're starting to break this area here. And so once we get above it, we should see us go from 303 up to about that 358 here. And to test that 200-day period moving average. There's really nothing in our way except that we can just tap that. The monthly is set to go. The weekly, we're already starting to see a turnaround on the 8 on the weekly, or excuse me, the 20 on the weekly here. We may see a little resistance there, but again, I expect us to kind of push through, get up to this level, and then come back down and test it. So that'll be a nice little play there. Let's check out AVAX Air, our sister show there. I want to shout out to Mr. Alexander. Man, look, we're starting to push up. I expect a pullback here on this week down to that $20 mark. But then after that, the next real level is up at that $35 mark area here. So that's going to be really...
So Avalanche didn't benefit anything really. That tiny little green boop there was not much in the great scheme of avalanches for a altcoin boom. It's up. Well, don't get me wrong, it's up, but it's in the past 2 days, but didn't pump as much as one would think.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of setting up because we're seeing. Look at the volume for the week from last week. There were definitely buying stepping in, so I'd expect that to see it continue up. And additionally to that, you're also seeing it go up first to come down and to play off of that weekly 8 with the fact that we got above this on the weekly, and then that monthly area we very much could tap that and then push back up. So that's what I'm expecting to see. That's about it right now. We'll go over Shiba Inu tomorrow because I want to talk about it, and we'll go from there. But yeah, it's going to be some fun time for tomorrow for Technical Tuesday. We got a lot of good stuff happening tomorrow. So if you guys come check us out on Technical Tuesday. We're going to be going over again a few of the blockchains, a few of the micro coins that we've been looking at, as well as just the typical what is the market and everything doing this week into the end of this month here.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see if Bitcoin can continue this run, or if some of its Bitcoin's luster comes off in a little bit of a pullback and allows the altcoins to run a little bit, stretch their legs. Make Pedro a wealthy crow holder by tripling in value, giving him a 15x for the past couple of months.
Yeah, making my heart cry over here.
Help Pedro buy another car.
A little bit more than that, but it'll be good though. It'll be good. I'm cheap. I don't need much to live. Just good food, good conversation, and a safe place to live. That's it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing the theme song of the week, all gassed up by Wes. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, that means it is the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. We had a good show today talking about Bitcoin, talking about the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, and Pedro disappears right at the end of the show. This connection lasts long enough. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be here tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday. And I think Friday, same bat channel, same bat time. Tomorrow's Technical Tuesday. And be ready for all of the economic indicators that affect your bags. What is Jerome Powell going to say? Why does it affect you? Why does it even matter at all? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for you today. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media universe. The man in the, well, that was in the box next to me here is none other than Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. And he's gone. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, so glad to have hosted another episode of this great show. We will see you tomorrow.
Freaking a beat, believe it's my mind. Wondering how other words in my head will be